Right. This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
My head is heavy, let me lay it down. Into your lap I would love to drown. I need that story I used to hear, to run on empty and disappear. I won't let go, I won't, I won't let go. I can't do this without you. I won't let go, I won't, I won't let go. I can't do this without you. Your stories, they come from the heart. Pull me together and tear me apart. Your stories, they come from the heart. Pull me together and tear me apart. I won't lie down and I won't, I won't lie down and I can't do this without you. I won't lie down and I won't, I won't lie down and I can't do this without you. Your stories, they come from the heart. Pull me together and tear me apart.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode. Good evening. Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. This is K1DBC, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. That's Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November. And I am Net Control. This is a casual conversation where we can discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully we have plenty of combined expertise and experience. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative 600 kilohertz offset, meaning you transmit on 144.890 or 448.625, respectively. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? You can contact us via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com or hamlearningnet@groups.io. We also have information on groups.io/g/ham learningnet. We also stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/WEREGR8, or if you search for W0TX or my call sign K1DBC, you should be able to find it. This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0 Juliet Kilo, AA0 JK with traffic. Good evening.
All right, AA0JK, Fred, with traffic. I got you checked in. We'll come back to you here in just a few minutes. All other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That would be the first letter after the number in that call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo 0 Bravo Alpha Tango Art Aurora, no traffic.
Kilo 0 Lima Alpha India K0 LEI Larry Lakewood.
Kilo Sierra 0 Echo KS0E Alex in Denver.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor K6HJV Tom Arvada, no traffic.
November 1 Golf Uniform Mike, Peter in Littleton.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Echo Oscar Oscar Doug in Aurora, no traffic.
Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo Rich in Arvada, no traffic. Good evening.
Great call signs. Love these call signs here. This is great. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. All right, Net Control, we'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. W0BKS Barb, K0BAT Art, K0LAI Larry, KS0E Alex, K6HJV Tom, N1GUM Peter, KF0EOO Doug, and WD6DOK Rich. Thank you all for checking in, new check-ins as well as existing. I appreciate everyone checking in. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. One more time, if your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo Zero, Kilo Papa Sierra, Kevin Lakewood, no traffic.
All right, in that time we had K0KPS Kevin with no traffic. Thank you for checking in. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. We'll go ahead and take all call suffixes. If your call suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please check in now, if you can, with ITU Phonetics, and indicate if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
Kilo Delta Zero, Romeo, Quebec, November, KD0, RQN, David from Westminster, no traffic.
W0TX Repeater.
November 0, X-ray, Romeo X-ray, Mark, in Urbana, and no traffic.
WD0CIB, WD0CIB, Charles in Denver, no traffic.
Gotcha, sounds good there, Jim.
Kilo
Check in.
Golf 5, Papa Delta Foxtrot, Jake, Denver, traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, November Romeo Echo, Jim in Littleton, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. All right, Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. KD0 RQN David, N0XRX Mark, WD0CIV Charles, N0TRP Jim, KG5 PDF Jake with traffic, and KE0TRP, or excuse me, KE0NRE Jim checked in. And I apologize, TRP, N0TRP had actually checked in online, so that's why you didn't hear him there. So thank you all for checking in here. Okay, once more, this is K1DBC Net Control. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic questions, we're taking all call suffixes. Please call now with your call sign name and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Did not get that. If anybody caught that. Let's see here. Just lay it back here. Nothing on that one. Alright, this is K1DBC Net Control. There was somebody else, I think, trying to call in there. I didn't get much at all, really. I apologize. If you want to try calling in once more, please call now. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, we're always taking check-ins online if you'd like. youtube.com/WEREGR8, or if you search for W0TX or K1DBC, you should be able to find it. At any given point in the net, even on the air, if you'd like to check in, as long as there's just a lull in the conversation, don't hesitate to check in. But I'll take check-ins throughout the net. With that, though, I'll throw it over to Fred, AA0JK with traffic. The net is yours.
Alpha Zero, Juliet Kilo, AA0JK. Good evening, everyone. Boy, we had a great day today. We had a good turnout for the siren test, and naturally we had the pizza party afterwards. It was great being able to actually being able to converse with our fellow hams and club members with some of the restrictions that dropped here for the pandemic. Sure is great to see everybody. Thank you, everyone that participated. We had a very successful group there with the testing of the emergency sirens. So great day there, great activities, great pizza. No beer. Tom tried to talk him into some root beer, but we couldn't seem to find any root beer to have with our pizza either. Anyhow, I digress. Back to business. The latest issue of QST, the July issue of QST is out, and in that issue is a great article on a new author who is going to be writing for QST, and you will recognize his call letters and his name, KE0OG, Dave Kassler. He does a fantastic job of putting together videos, helping everybody get that amateur radio license and upgrade. Does an extremely good job of making it understandable, subjects that some might find difficult. But now he is a part of ARRL. See his latest article, an introduction on him and some of his history. Page 50 of the latest July issue of QST. Drop here for a moment. AA0JK returning. Also, you might take a look at the ARRL web site under licensing, education, and training. A lot of great answers to any questions that you might have can be found on the ARRL website. And we've got all sorts of topics here for learning programs, getting and upgrading your license, volunteer examiners, how to get involved in VE testing. And by the way, if you have questions or want to schedule some testing, our club representative is KC2 CAG Tom, and you can find his information on the Denver Radio Club's web page. So if you are ready to take that exam, give Tom a call. But a lot of other topics here, technology, getting involved, just like we did, the Denver Radio Club today, and helping out the Wheat Ridge public service there for their sirens, and a number of other topics, repeaters, and emergency communications training. Anyhow, that's about it. I've taken enough time up here. Back to net control, AA0JK.
All right, sounds good there, AA0JK Fred. This is K1DBC. Yeah, good information there. The On the Air magazine and all the K0OG getting in there. So that's great with on QRZ. So that's really cool. Plenty of info on arl.org for more info on the Air magazine, on the QRZ magazine, as well as some of the quite a lot of activities going on as well.
W0TX repeater.
QST magazine, Don, AA0JK.
Apologies, yeah, QST, not QRZ, QST magazine. Thank you so much for correction there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I guess real quick back on the Wheat Ridge siren test, I was able to capture the our DRC repeater activity as well as some on-site activity, at least to the site that I had visited. So if you had any interest in what the repeater activity sounds like, check-ins and etc., there's an hour and a half or so of audio of that. Same repeater you're speaking on now, but occurred earlier this morning, 10 a.m. to 11:30 or so. And then I have some video of what the siren test looks like, a little bit of some of the non-moving station, and some of what the audio sounds like. So if you have any interest in that and any interest in participation next year, you can kind of see what we get up to here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Jake had passed traffic or wanted to pass traffic here, PDF, but anything else on anything we've spoken about so far, the siren tests, the QST magazine, on the Air magazine, anything else that Fred brought up, please call now. Okay, not hearing anything at the moment. We'll go ahead and send it over to KG5 PDF. Jake, with traffic, go ahead. The net is yours.
Oh, good evening, everybody. This is KG5 PDF Jake. Good to hear everybody out there. I said this will be my second time tuning in here, so seems like a good thing going. So, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of take off the first question there and mention that I've never heard of net mode on a repeater. So, and I have a feeling there might be some other folks that aren't necessarily familiar with that either. So, I was hoping you could enlighten us as to what exactly is being changed when you do that. Back to net.
All right, hey, not a problem there, PDF. Yeah, great question there. What actually happens when when I put things into net mode? So a few things happen. In sequence, the first thing that happens is I send some DTM F tones, and so on my keypad, I key up and then transmit a character 1 through 9 or a star and pound, things like that. And then what that does is it removes a couple of things from the repeater. It removes the required 100 hertz PL tone, as well as it removes the timeout function. After about 5 or so minutes, normally the repeater would time you out and make sure that nobody's operating, essentially, and so it removes that. So I think those are the two key functionalities of the net mode within our repeaters. It removes the tone, PL tone required, the CTCCS, the 100 hertz tone, as well as the timeout. So let me know if you have any other further questions or anyone else on that. Go ahead.
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, like I said, I've never heard anybody else doing that. But yeah, timing out the machine in the middle of a QST is kind of inconvenient, so it's a very handy feature. But anyway, and this, if I remember correctly, this machine's not linked into a system. It is cross mode over to 70 centimeter, right? So it's not taking it out of a link system either. KG5 PDF.
Yes, that is correct. PDF. This is a K1DBC. Yeah, this is directly linked. The same station has a link with 448.625. Yeah, the 70 centimeters. No internet linking or anything. So, there might be different terminology for it within different nets potentially. But some other nets have something similar where they kind of put their repeater into a function for kind of a long conversation use. So yeah, I'm glad to be able to answer that question. If anybody else or PDF, or if I guess anyone else again has anyone other questions or comments on that, go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I actually have a question myself on that. I know some other clubs are capable of making that change without analog DTMF tones that can potentially be decoded. I've heard repeaters being changed into different modes without hearing anything. Does anybody have any information on that, how that might happen? It might be a DCS tone, or there's some other tones potentially, but anybody on that, go ahead.
Comment, KPS?
Yeah, KPS, go ahead.
On the repeater controller, there are user-definable actions that can be taken. Like you use the dual frequency dual tone encoder to take it into net mode, because we have the 70 centimeter and the 2 meter repeaters linked together. There are a sequence of key presses that could sever that link and have those repeaters separated if the occasion came up, say for an emergency activation, where we needed to have two separate repeaters operational that were not linked together. So it all depends on the repeater owner and how he sets up his controller and what functions he wants in there. Some repeaters could still have a phone patch where the dual tone multi-frequency encoder could be used to access the phone patch. So it's all dependent on the repeater owner and what they're using. There may be some individuals that can go into the controller through an IP address and make changes remotely through an IP address. Now, it is interesting to note that when you put the repeater into net mode on VHF, those tones do not come across on the UHF side, so that's maybe why sometimes you don't hear the tones. So if there's any other, let me know. But back to net K0 KPS.
W0TX repeater.
All right, KPS. This is K1DBC. Yeah, interesting to hear on that. Yeah, I haven't really tried playing around with receiving on different frequencies while transmitting and etc. So I don't really know kind of the audio, but yeah, I was listening to some other nets, and just kind of for security purposes, I was trying to figure out if I can transmit those tones without anybody hearing. That would be kind of an interesting thing to be able to do. So, yeah, thanks for that information, though.
Comment, KG5 PDF.
Yeah, great conversation here. Yeah, KG5 PDF. Jake, go ahead.
Well, I don't think my example really quite follows what you're thinking there, but it is similar. So in the Texas Panhandle, you have a link system there called the Caprock InterInterior Tie, and that one is linked through 900 megahertz link radios, and they do have I believe they have also have a data channel associated with them. So what that is, more or less, is so they have a 900 megahertz backbone between the repeaters, and the trustees are the ones who have access to that. And so to the everyday users, you don't hear or see anything going on with that. So it's more of just a covert operation, if you will. It's not technically, cyber secure or anything like that, but it does ensure, one of the reasons that they do that is it does ensure that they maintain complete control of the system, and can override something or knock something down at any time. And I do believe I believe those machines will shut down if they lose that link. Some of them have been reconfigured as standalone because they've had issues with tower space and being able to keep links up and such. So anyway, KG5 PDF.
All right, KG5 PDF. This is K1DBC. Yeah, I'm just looking up the Caprock InterInterior Tie link system. Yeah, absolutely, within the Texas area there. Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, the part of the security was definitely for sure kind of my thoughts in that. My real thought really was, as net controller, I mean, DTMF tones are basically decodable, so being able to put a repeater into modes dependent on DTMF tones, unfortunately, can be taken advantage of. And I think, I don't actually know the systems, but I think some of the tornado sirens within some Texas counties actually were taken advantage of due to something like that. But yeah, it was really just kind of a thought experiment, what I was thinking. So yeah, no, yeah, that's really a cool system to look at there, the Caprock InterInterior Tie link system, and the advantages it has there. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up there. Thank you so much. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess real quick back on that, more info on that system, caprockintertie.org, as well as on W5WX.net. Seems to have some information on the Panhandle Amateur Radio Club as well, and some of the Caprock InterInterior Tie as well. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Does anybody have any other comments, questions, anything else, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up so far for the net? Please call now. All right, this is Net Control, K1DBC. I'll go ahead and just, I guess, take official check-ins if you've just tuned in. I am Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to help us. Everyone is welcome to join in. If there's anyone who wishes to check in at this time, please do so with your call sign using IT Phonetics, your name, and state if you have any traffic or questions for the net. Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more, if you'd like to check in just at the moment for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please call now with your call sign name and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I have a few bits of traffic as well as we can have a continuation for our What's That Sound game. But if anybody has any other traffic questions, comments, or anything else at the moment, please call now. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess we can play the game of What's That Sound. So I'll be bringing up some audio that you may or may not have heard, but has a lot of relation to ham radio and some modes you might be aware of. So I'm going to play some audio. If you know what it is, let us know. There is no prize just at the moment. But I'll go ahead and play that over YouTube and the air. Let us know in the YouTube chat or in comments, and we can go from there. Sorry about that. This is K1DBC Net Control. I'll go ahead and pass that audio. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That was a little bit different than normal, but if you were able to understand what that sound was, let us know in the comments, and hopefully at some point we might be able to get a prize going here. But I'll play that once more, at least the second clip of that. I'll play that once more here.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'm hopefully being able to stump the audience this evening. That is a protocol used by ham radio. I'll give a little bit of a hint. It's can be routed over the internet. Let us know what that is in the comments on YouTube or on the groups.io. I think if it's enough of a stump, I might be able to get a little bit of a gift card going. So let us know this evening or throughout the week. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. One guess here, Packet. That was not Packet, Larry. Good guess now. Might have that in the future, but does anybody have any comments, questions, check-ins, anything they'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I can bring up a few things here if wanted, but one more time at the moment. Does anybody have any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else at the moment? Please call now.
KF0EOO with a comment.
Yeah, EOO, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, with like the network of repeaters, has anyone tried to do 2-meter repeaters from state to state or across the country?
EOO, KF0EOO, Doug, good question about 2-meter internet linked throughout the nation here. I have not tried that myself. I don't know if anybody knows of good systems that would be able to link through the nation here. I know we have, or there's probably like some IRLP stations, things like that. The Internet Radio Linking Project. Things like that. Anybody's done 2-meter throughout different cities in the United States? Go ahead.
Whiskey Zero Bravo Kilo Sierra. I have not, but I'm very interested in that. I have a daughter in Texas, and during some emergency events, it would have been something I would have tried to get in touch with my family.
KE0SUM, late check-in.
All right, sounds good there, Barb. W0BKS. Yeah, I'm quite interested myself as well. Yeah, again, as mentioned, irlp.net, and then there's the skyhublink.com. I know a lot of repeaters are linked to that. Jonathan, KE0SUM, got you checked in, and if you have any traffic on that, go ahead.
Evening, Drone. Got tied up earlier. Nice to catch up. But your latest topic was really interesting to me about 2-meter repeaters across the country. I got really into studying that because I always thought there should be a way to do it. But from my experience, the only really good thing to do is maybe go with something. It has to end up being digital to end up working, like skyhublink.com. So KE0SUM back to net.
KF0EO with a comment.
All right, thanks there, SUM, Jonathan, with the follow-up. Yeah, the linking of repeaters, unfortunately, it may just not be at the point where we have complete coverage, either through that. And then again, another thing, like remotehams.com or like SDR, was it SDRplay.com? I forget which it is, but you can listen in at least and potentially transmit on other people's individual radios. So that might be another option though. But yeah, EOO. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's EOO. Yeah, it sounds like a great engineering challenge, possibly using repeaters going crossband between 2 meters, 70 centimeters, so they can relay across great distances without relying on an infrastructure such as the internet or Skyhub or something that could possibly be failed or hacked or whatever. But the thought of having something totally standalone, repeater to repeater, possibly multi-frequencies, that it sounds like a good engineering challenge or a good puzzle for people to work on. Over.
KG5 PDF. Yeah, I think he's right there. It's it is quite a engineering challenge, so to speak, and then I would say more so a logistical challenge too. Tower space is kind of come as you can get it type deal. I would say the whole systems like the Fun Machine, I can't remember these out here. They are linked through a sort of an internet type of system in a way, or a PBX of sorts, a network. So that does have its weak links. They have like I mentioned previously, the WX5IS system in Oklahoma, in the eastern part of Oklahoma, or even the Caprock InterInterior Tie. Those, man, they rely on a lot of nodes, but some of those are usually an RF backbone. And a matter of fact, on both of those systems, I'm not aware of any internet connection at all. And they've tried very hard not to do that. But yeah, I don't think it would be unfathomable to be able to establish a co-op and be able to get like a a beam going to the next large metro area. I believe that link between, say, Oklahoma City and Tulsa can be achieved. And then you just need a repeater at that location. Anyway, I timed my radio out there. You got to watch that. Yeah, it takes a lot of coordination and a very strategic plan. But I think it could be done. The Caprock InterInterior Tie actually makes its way all up and down the Texas Panhandle, and it almost take just one more node to hop over into Oklahoma City area, So, but yeah, it would be very interesting at some point if there was someone who had a background in those RF backbone systems. Kind of give us a rundown what all goes into those, because I've seen some work very good, and I've seen others that don't work very good. So it tells me there's definitely some hurdles there to making it work good. That's KG5 PDF.
All right, KG5 PDF is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, and everyone else in there. Yeah, great conversation here. Yeah, a fully off commercial power, commercial networks, pure RF type networks. There's probably a bit ad hoc here and there throughout the United States and probably throughout the world. I'd imagine some, but yeah, unfortunately, there does, especially nowadays, require some internet linking a little bit and some reliance on that. So fully off commercial might be unfortunately a little bit of an effort to do nationwide, but there are a lot of efforts to do so for sure. I know here we have the Rocky Mountain Ham Radio Club, rmham.org, Northern Colorado. They do a lot. They have a digital network that's not really on the Brandmeister network. It's really kind of off that, and it's, again, as kind of you mentioned a little bit as well, RF linked, site to site, things like that. So there are a lot of efforts to that, but it's it might take a big effort to get all these clubs on the same page of effort. So great topic here, though. Anyone else on that, please call now.
KG5 PDF would also like to further recommend a general class ticket for such operation.
All right, thanks there, PDF. Yeah, general class. Yeah, if you have anything on that, go ahead.
Not particularly, but it is a much more suited mode for that kind of to cover that kind of distance. And then you're, as we all know, it's a little bit unpredictable, but you're not relying on an infrastructure again. And you're back to my radio and your radio. Those are the only two pieces of equipment you're relying on at that point.
Oh, gotcha. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense here. Yeah, the general class, you do have a bit more privilege once you have that license, a bit more HF band privileges. I think you have kind of the HF, general HF bands from 3 to 30 megahertz. Yeah, and being able to use frequencies, bands, etc., equipment that doesn't necessarily need to rely on short distance frequencies, etc. So yeah, great follow up on that. Thank you.
Question, S.t.e.m.
Yeah, KE0 S.t.e.m. Jonathan, go ahead.
The previous ham had it right. What you go for general is what you're talking about for long distance communication. So my question is, do you think say a person decides they're going to become a technician, they study, they get their license, do you think technicians often think they're going to be able to talk a lot further than they're going to? I mean, 5 watt HT is what, in simplex a mile, maybe 5? I don't know. I wonder if some technicians' eyes get opened once they start realizing you have to really kind of move up to the HF. KE0 S.t.e.m. back to net.
KF0FSY checking in late with no traffic. This is Dan. Just a comment on the technician license. I just received mine, I guess, maybe a few weeks ago, and it's been a real eye-opener to me on my HT, and I never really expected to get very far, but I'm impressed with what I've gotten so far. But, yeah, I am looking forward to that general class license. Back to that.
All right, sounds good there, KF0FSY. Dan, got you checked in. Yeah, glad to hear that. And S.t.e.m, yeah, great question there as well. Yeah, I know the ARL has spoken about trying to expand the HF privileges for technician licenses. I don't know how far they've gotten with that, but yeah, the current ban plan. Let's see what technicians can do here. I mean, just outside of the normal VHF UHF bands is 6 meters, so technicians can do that. So it's around 50 megahertz. But just off that, I'm not sure. There's a little bit. We get 15 megahertz. It looks like in there. Maybe some 7 megahertz. Some really off key things here that equipment we have. Some equipment we have might not be able to operate on. So yeah, no, good point. Not sure how the yeah, let me drop here for a moment.
Comment.
Yeah, sounds good here. Yeah, comment. Yeah, easier JK, Fred. Go ahead.
A0JK, yeah. Talking about being able to communicate a little bit further and maybe sending out some messages to loved ones, possibly during some bad weather conditions or what have you. Once you get your general class license and can operate on the other bands, here's an example. Every day at noon, they start taking check-ins at 11:30. Is the high noon net. The high noon net on 40 meters, 7.240 megahertz, and it is a directed traffic net, and they relay messages to individuals for hams in areas there that you wouldn't otherwise be able to make contact with your technician license. So in the event of an emergency or wanting to send a message or check up on somebody outside of the area here, like relatives, that's kind of their thing there. The high noon net, and they handle traffic, and it's if you look on the Denver Radio Club's Denver area net list, you'll see it there at 1, 2, 3, fourth item down. So also it's interesting sometimes just to listen in and hear some of the traffic that they handle there. A0JK, back to net control.
All right, thanks there, Fred. Yeah, the high noon net, they meet daily at 12 p.m. 7.240 megahertz. Part of the National Traffic System, NTS. More info, arl.org/NTS, or there's also the Colorado Traffic Net, K0NTS.org. Really cool stuff that they do. Yeah, very, very interesting.
Well, KG5 PDF would like to throw out WinLink.
All right, KG5 PDF. Yeah, WinLink, the email system. I think over Packet. Another great system as well. Used quite a lot by a lot of different Aries groups and things like that. Yeah, winlink.org. If you have any interest in sending mail over amateur radio, this is kind of the standard for that. Very, very cool. All right, thanks there, PDF. If you have any other follow-up on that, go ahead.
Sorry, I got distracted there. Yeah, so I actually tuned into a Zoom meeting from the Lubbock Club. So WinLink is a little bit of a topic of discussion with a lot of Aries groups right now. I'm not sure why that is, because I'm not really a part of one. I'd like to change it in the near future, but so that is kind of something a lot of clubs are kind of getting involved with a little bit. And for HF, it's it still relies on the internet, yes, but it's a very diverse system. So you'd be talking about a cataclysmic disaster to totally lose that, and there are, considering that we're in a major metropolitan area, a lot of us here, turns out there are 2-meter nodes into that system, and one of the nice things about repeater sites is they usually have, backup and critical level utility services such as internet. So I would like to say that they, an internet-linked machine, like a WinLink node or even an APRS node, iGate, not really knowing what I'm talking about, I would like to say that those may still be available, particularly in a localized disaster, whereas, the telephone system would certainly be overloaded. But anyway, that's some options there still for at the technician level. A lot of times those systems are still available. This KG5 PDF.
All right, thanks there, KG5 PDF, Jake. Yeah, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, good to hear. There's plenty of options out there, even at technician level. Some HF communications availability to you, and your loved ones if they have a tech license as well. So, great conversation here. Thank you so much for that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. We don't have a hard stop, but we normally end around this time. But if anybody has any other further comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now.
K0SUM question.
Jay, Chris Portable in Inglewood checking in.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think I had KD0DUJ Chris checking in, portable, but then I also had S.t.e.m Jonathan. Yeah, go ahead in there. Sorry, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think I had KE0 S.t.e.m Jonathan. If you had any other follow-up, go ahead.
Just a real quick question. You guys should really watch Drone on YouTube because he has this really interesting blue backdrop that he sits in, and I was kind of wondering, Drone, if that was comfortable. Fun seeing you this evening. KE0SUM, back to net.
Looks green to me.
I could have sworn it was blue earlier. I have bad eyes. Yeah, it looks green now.
Looks like a blue shirt with a green background. Oh, and the teeth. We mustn't leave out the teeth. It's great, Nerone. It's great. Just keep it up. It's doing a great job. A0JK. K1DBC, KD0DUJ. Yeah, Jerome, I watch your channel on YouTube also. You do a really good job on it.
All right, thanks, guys. There, yeah, this is just a cheap Amazon green screen, just able to chroma key out everything else, so that on this sort of view right here that you're looking at now, you can it's just 100% transparency. So, yeah, some pretty good effects. Appreciate all the nice comments in there. Thanks all for watching. So yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, appreciate it.
W0TX.
WD0EDH Wes, this is K1DBC. Got you checked in.
Yeah, hang on. I got a phone call all of a sudden.
No problem. Yeah, I can pass some things here. If you have any other traffic, we'll call back on you in just a minute. All right, so yeah, appreciate all the nice comments there. Yeah, if you have any interest in kind of what we're speaking about throughout the net, I'm bringing up video and just different links, and definitely helps build a better picture of what we're speaking about. So with that, I will try to bring up a couple things here, and then we'll probably start to wrap things up. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control over on great blog that I always like to recommend, hackaday.com, H-A-C-K-A-D-A-Y. An article from June 4th by Donald Papp entitled "Soldering Iron Plus Camera Gimbal Helps Cancel Out Hackers' Hand Tremors." So soldering requires steady hands. So when Jonathan Gleek sadly developed a condition called an essential tremor affecting his hands, soldering became more difficult. But one day, while he was chatting with a friend, they were visited by Good Ideas Fairy, and in true, I think that's another person, in true hacker fashion, he ended up repurposing a handheld camera stabilizing gimbal to hold a soldering iron instead of a camera or smartphone. So now, instead of the gimbal canceling out hand movements to keep a camera steady, it instead helps keep a soldering iron steady. So while the inner workings are a cheap gimbal, didn't need modification, there were a couple things that needed to be done. They easily connect and disconnect through a dovetail connector and some other modifications. So if you yourself are going through any issues holding, stabilizing a soldering iron or loved ones, something like this might be a pretty interesting idea. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. One other piece of information here, and I'll drop for a moment. Interesting piece of reading. Just an interesting thing I heard the other day is within the country of Japan, there's actually, they use different types of ground main frequencies, so 50 hertz and 60 hertz in their systems. So some of their power generators came from Europe, some of their power generators came from America, so there's kind of a split between some of the country, between 50 and 60 hertz. So a lot of their consumer electronics actually have to conform to both of those standards, and or they have to find electronics that can conform to one or the other. So just an interesting read over on japantimes.com here. Let me bring this up. Yeah, interesting. A read called Japan's Incompatible Power Grids. This is from back in 2011. So if you thought trying to conform to one hertz was difficult enough. Imagine trying to conform to 2 or both, whatever. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it back out there. I don't know, Wes, if you have any other traffic information you want to pass WD0EDH, go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think the only last thing I had was another recent article from hackaday.com titled "What is Ultra Wideband?" And this goes into iPhones and AirTag locators. Ultra widebands are the new hotness when it comes to cell phones. It refers to radio signals, with a very high bandwidth of over 500 megahertz and a very low overall power density spread over that spectrum. Transmissions are encoded not by modulation or discrete frequency carriers, as they would be in conventional radio, but by the emissions of wideband pulses of RF energy across that band. It can exist across the same unlicensed spectrum as narrower bandwidth channelized services, and that huge bandwidth gives it an extremely high short-range data transfer bandwidth capability. Chipsets used by consumer devices use a range of ultra-wideband channels between 3.5 and 6.5 gigahertz. So, huge bandwidth there. Another great article here from June 9th by Jenny List. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll go ahead and throw it back out to the net. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now.
KS0E.
Yeah, KS0E. Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Daron. Sorry to throw something in here right at the end. This was all just making me think. I got a buddy who's serving overseas right now, and I know there's that Mars group. I guess it's affiliated. I think it's actually under the military. Does anyone on the net know whether or not I could pass traffic somehow through that Mars network to him overseas? I think it'd be kind of neat.
All right, KS0E. Yeah, no problem. Mars, the military auxiliary radio system. Yeah, I don't know if we're able to use that system to pass messages over to overseas members. If anybody has any information on that, go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I might be a little digging. I'd imagine probably there might be some legacy system out there, maybe something similar to this, where you might be able to make some sort of a analog or a digital communication with a service member, potentially through our bands, through this or something else. But yeah, I'm not too sure. But KS0E, if you have any other thing on that, go ahead.
No, not much. Thanks, Daron. I'll do some digging, and if I find out an answer, I'll report back in one of these upcoming weeks. Back to net.
Jake.
DOK.
JK and DOK in there. Okay. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. All right, we had A0JK and DOK in there. JK, Fred, go ahead.
AA0JK, yeah. I've been licensed with the Mars program for quite some time. Used to handle traffic when I was over in the Mariana Islands, and we had a station there that we would relay messages from San Francisco, Hawaii, over to the Marianas, the Philippines and then on into Vietnam, and we would handle traffic. But since then, the Navy has discontinued their Mars program, and I think that the Army has pretty much taken over the Mars activities, and I believe the Air Force still does. But in this particular area, I think that Buckley Air National Guard base, I believe they've changed their name, but they've got a Mars station there. But to my knowledge, I don't know that it is active at this time. So that might be the only local area there that you might look into and see what is going on over at Buckley with their Mars station. AA0JK.
This is KS0E. Fred, thanks for the info. It's another tree to shake.
All right, thanks there, yeah, Fred, as well, for a little bit of information on the Mars program as well. DOK, WD6, DOK, Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add a comment that, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't really, maybe it's not pertinent, but I was a member of Army Mars, and of course traffic was handled from Vietnam back to the States. You have to be a member so you can operate outside of the band. It operates outside of the amateur band. You can have your radio tuned to that if you purchase one or if you have one that's capable. You just have to show a license. They also had, at one time, some very neat equipment, if you were a member of the Mars group, that they would allow you to use, scopes and all kinds of stuff. So, anyway, just for what that's worth, back to net. Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo.
Comment.
All right, thanks there, DOK, for the information on there on the Army Mars. Yeah, Fred, A0JK, go ahead.
A0JK. Yeah, the Mars frequencies are outside of the amateur bands. They're kind of off to the side, but they are not in the amateur radio allocation. And occasionally you will see that they have events to where you get crossband contacts that you can make with these stations. You're transmitting in the amateur bands and listening over on their frequency, and they have those activities periodically. And yes, that is how I managed to get my Model 28 was through Navy Mars. The teletype that I had over there, the Mars group went and volunteered and shipped home my Mars station. About a week after I got home, a truck pulled up and they had my teletype from Agenia on board, and I still have it today in the shack. AA0JK, it was a great program.
Yeah, with Wi-Fi and cell phones, they don't use it anymore.
Yeah, technology has taken over. AA0JK.
Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo.
All right, sounds good there, everyone. Delta Oscar Kilo, A0JK. Yeah, great conversation on the Mars program here and all sorts of information. So very, very cool. Appreciate everyone's input there.
A quick comment, S.t.e.m.
Yeah, S.t.e.m, go ahead.
Great discussion, but I wanted to point out all the new modern radios, the Mars is a modification. It is an add-on extra. Most of them do not come with Mars. I just thought I'd throw that out there. KE0SUM, back to net.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I happened to get my FT857D from an older W0TX DRC member, and it had the Mars mod done to it. Not that I've done much with those bands, but yeah, as you mentioned, those are completely outside of the ham bands and require a modification more or less to any modern day radios to be able to operate on those bands. Yeah, good information.
WD0EDH is back.
All right, EDH. Wes, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a real good friend of mine. It's in the hospital, and I've been trying to find him, and he finally got a hold of me. So anyway, traded words and sentiments and all that stuff. So anyway, this is, I'm wanting to get to know you guys, you know, because I hear you all here every once in a while. I get past you here, and I just would like to get into this VHF and UHF stuff a little bit better than what I have been. So what's the name of your net?
Well, hey there, Wes. Glad to hear you. Absolutely. We are part of the Denver Radio Club. Club call sign is W0TX. This net specifically is the Elmers, or the Ham Learning Net, excuse me. The Ham Learning Net. We take place on every Wednesday except for the third Wednesday. Same frequency you're listening on now. Yeah, we have a YouTube presence and some things on groups.io. Glad to hear you out there and hear you on the air. So yeah, welcome to the net, and yeah, we're here to discuss any ham radio related questions, science, technology, engineering, etc., etc. So if you have anything else on that, Wes, WD0EDH, go ahead.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I belong to the Denver Radio Club, but I didn't realize, didn't even recognize this as one of their repeaters, first of all, and second of all, didn't even realize that really you guys are around. I've strolled across you guys a few times, and never have made it a permanent thing, but I'll have to write it down on paper and be sure to catch this net.
All right, yeah, glad to hear that. Yeah, some ham radio kind of just goes, it's a little bit low key, kind of just goes under the radar a little bit, and yeah, there's not too much advertising, unfortunately, for this net, but yeah, we are related to the Denver Radio Club. A lot of, we have 400, 500 dues playing members, and really active community. So yeah, glad to hear you there, and yeah, glad to hear you on the net here. So with that, anyone else on that or anything else before we wrap things up?
Okay, well, thank you for getting me in there and telling me about it a little bit more, and I'll surely be looking for you guys next week, I guess. And so take care, WD0EDH.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, and once more, yeah, again, we're on YouTube, so if you've missed any of our previous learning nets, Sunday night nets, any of our past activities, I've been posting things up on YouTube, so yeah, again, like we were speaking about earlier, we had the repeater, the Wheat Ridge siren test, so we got some audio and video from that, and then some of our other meetings. So don't ever hesitate to check any of that out as well.
I'll have to do that. So thanks for letting me know, and I'll check in with you guys again, I'm sure. WD0EDH. Take care.
All right, sounds good. WD0EDH. This is K1DBC. I will go ahead and put it out to the net. Anybody have any other last-minute comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll go ahead and play once more that What's That Sound? And if anybody has any information they'd like to bring up, let me know. I'll just play it real quickly here, hopefully.
W0TX repeater.
So if you know what that sound is, let us know in the YouTube comments or in the Ham Learning Net, and we can go from there. So with that, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll go ahead and start to wrap things up unless anybody has any other comments, questions, or check-ins. Please call now.
K1DBC KD0DUJ. That sounded like that was DMR, raw data.
Sounds like some white noise to me. DOK.
All right, this is K1DBC. It is not DMR. Good guess, though. Yeah, a lot of white noise. So if you know what this is, let us know in our groups.io. I might be able to hopefully maybe be able to provide a gift certificate or something to something here. So let me drop, ask for any other final comments, questions, and then I'll wrap things up.
Slow scan.
I bet it's a satellite ping.
Still no luck. Not satellite ping, not slow scan. Good questions or good suggestions though.
Is it packet KF0FSY?
It is not packet either.
It's white noise. You got us, Daron. AA0JK 73, everyone.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, next week I will reveal what that is. And I think next week is actually, let me just drop and I'll pass some club business here.
Yeah, we gotta wait 2 weeks to find out what this is.
This is K1DBC Net Control. I'll go ahead and give it 1 week. So next week, June 16th, is our next meeting. If you want to join us on our Elmers session, I'll go ahead and play it then as well. So 6 p.m. June 17th. I'll play it one last time there, a couple more times there, and see if anybody knows it there. Otherwise, it will be revealed there. So again, more info on the club, W0TX.org. Again, next meeting, June 16th, is 7 p.m. USB and serial interface is presented by Bob N6TV. So everything you need to know about USB and serial. So more info on that, W0TX.org. We have a meet.google link. 6 p.m. for an Elmers session. So very similar to this, just an hour-long session of Q&A about ham radios. So during that time, I'll bring it up then, and we'll see if we can figure out that as well. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning, and I appreciate everyone checking in online over the air, wherever you are at in the world. I hope everyone is doing well, and we'll wrap things up here. Don't forget to visit our public mailing list at groups.io/g/ham learning net. You can also email us at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We're also on youtube.com if you search for W0TX or K1DBC. This evening we had a total of 21 check-ins. We especially thank everyone who participated, especially our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. Again, we invite you to join us the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7 p.m. That will be next week. Everyone is welcome to that. With that, one more time, if you look on W0T on the YouTube, you can see some information from our Wheat Ridge siren tests, some video from that, as well as some audio from the repeaters, as well as some past nets and things like that. So, with that, this is K1DBC Net Control. I will go ahead and put things back into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Thanks all for being here this evening. Hopefully you're all doing well, and we'll see you all next time. This is K1DBC 73 Wall. Everyone take care. I'm clear. All right, thanks everyone for being here. Yeah, as always, don't ever hesitate to let me know if you have any comments or questions on here. And appreciate all the comments, and if you ever want to provide any hate, that's fine too. But yeah, appreciate everyone checking things out. And with that though, everyone have a good night. Take care.